It was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be
forward.
like a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have sex
Corrupt
and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
My name is Colin Mfazwe. I'm a photographer, filmmaker, human rights activist.
My name is Zijali, pronouns she and her, founder and executive director of Transhope, mother of 3.
My name is Hector. I'm from Umsinto. I currently live in Japan.
I'm an activist, musician, writer, photographer, and currently I'm occupying the role as a human rights advocacy officer.
Yes. I get hurt when I saw houses of people that are in half, and some they are literally inside the soil, or I'm wondering inside that there were people inside that space.
When we were cleaning the beach, I've realized that a lot of things that were there in the beach was mostly it's either medication, and medication is a basic need. Also shoes. And now you question yourself, Witty. I've seen school shoes, we've seen your casual shoes, and mostly we've seen kids' shoes. And I was very, very worried when I started seeing medication, your asthma sprays, and eye contact lens, a container of eye contact lens and other things. And you question yourself that when you're cleaning here, I wonder, how does this person survive? Because we asthma people can't really survive without their sprays. And you're thinking, these people don't have money. I'm sure they in a hole somewhere. There's distance when they have to access basic healthcare. So we can count a lot. We can count a lot. We're not even touching that. Okay, government, go and fix these houses, but we're touching about the basic needs.
Most of the casualties were in spaces where it's informal land owned by the traditional authorities, the Qadis and Ingonyama Trust, where the placement of people does not have all surveyors. So people can just be placed anywhere. Majority of it were abantu abaplaced inkosi nenduna.
I don't see none of these in the news. The only platform that I see a majority of floods in Durban was Twitter and Facebook, and in the news, it was just passed by.
When we had a meeting with the government and they are saying, we cannot have water, they still need to drain the pipes because they are still finding dead bodies within those dams, and the only way to take them out is to drain water. So what's gonna be happening is that we won't have water because they have to first find all these people that are inside the dams, and the struggle it's still there because many people were washed out to sea, washed up to the dams.
If they say they're still fixing the pipe, or they can't fix the pipe because they're still trying to find people who are missing, why the municipality doesn't take to themselves that there must be a truck that comes in the morning that delivers water to each township that don't have water, and that comes in the afternoon and 3 times a day, and in the late and later on, trucks that come and deliver water, because we know that our government have access to such. Why don't they find alternatives to help people?
When it comes to the collection of data in terms of people who have died, it's inaccurate because baningi abantu, there are so many people who have not been found and most likely will not be found because they are now swallowed by inhlabat.
Maybe you were not that much affected. Maybe your house is more strength than others. But where I'm staying, it seems like there was no flood in Durban. I'm telling you, white people here, they were literally, a friend of mine told me that they were literally on those humongous water. They were putting their boats, their scooters for water, just driving, having fun, as if like there's nothing happening, it's just water. But in the township, deep there, people are literally dying.
If you go to our urban areas such as Umhlanga North, Durban North, majority of those spaces are all accessible. So it could just be ukuthi kunale discrimination yokuthi manje it's an economic discrimination ukuthi ubanokhokha ama-rates amaningi because lezo ndawo sezirikhavile. Thina kodwa lana khona indawo eziningi esemakhaya engakaze ithintwe engaze ivakashele engangeneki kuzo. So at the end of the day, it goes back to saying now, are we really applying the rules of the Constitution accordingly, where we are awarding every person equal rights, or we are saying ukuthi wena uhlalaphi is going to determine how much of access to services that you are going to be getting? Because njengoba ngisho ukuthi perhaps the money is being used, but it is being used in a manner in which says, okay, we'll prioritize number one, economic spaces where the economy can control. But what about the people abasema rural who cannot have access to roads? Bawulanda nje just treatment yakhe HIV, ye-TB, ye-shugela, and all of that. What about those spaces? What is being done?
We, in the grassroots level, people are affected. And there are people who are still take out small things that they have and feed other people. That shows Ubuntu. Then we question ourselves, then, Uguchi, what is it with our government? Do we still have the government, or there's someone else who's ruling the South Africa? Because wow, how can one not get affected by the situation that was happening in KZN?
Later on, I heard that KZN was given 30 million to rebuild the spaces that are literally being damaged by the floods. But when I went there by myself to document and accompanying Babumtunu when they were doing their community service, there was no money that government brought to those people. They were hungry, literally. And kids were more than 10 that they were staying in that space. Women were just sitting. There's no mattress for them to sleep in, number one. Number two, there's nothing. There's no blankets. All of the blankets that they had literally maybe went with the floods. So I keep asking myself, what does the government do?
Government have failed us long time ago. And it's pity because we've seen things happening now and again, and there is no hope.
In us rehabilitating and rebuilding the country and rebuilding the people who have suffered enormous post-traumatic stress disorder, we needed to see our social workers, we needed to see our psychologists, active in communities, going door to door, checking on the livelihood of these people who have lost family members, who have family members. Because when we start to rebuild the country, or when we start to rebuild things, how are these people going to function in society with such a trauma?
For me, if I would be one of the people who are working with the government, when I look at Durban, I see a lot of buildings who are not being done, that can be built, and took people from the community there. In the meantime, their spaces have been rebuilt, then put there so that they know that this building is filled with maybe 2 communities or 2 townships, that way we can be able to go and feed them and give them water to wash. I'm wondering, when did they wash? Like, how do they do that? Because there's no water. It means that they are just sitting there and they never washed.
I'm lucky, I'm fortunate. I stay in Inanda. I stay where the people are. They are my neighbors. So I know exactly what is happening in Amakelwane, whereas our politicians are there in those spaces, which they cannot ever see. The only time that they came, and for me, it felt like a public relations stunt for them to do fundraising so that the funds could be distributed however they choose. Because I'm not seeing those funds coming back.
There are buildings in Durban that I normally see every day that are filled, that are literally not being used. Those buildings, government should try and rebuild them a little so that they can put people inside there. In the meantime, that they think that they can't be able to do things when people are inside their spaces.
Right now, we need to come up with a proactive and implementable strategy which is going to see us seeing ukuthi abantu balala bedlile. Abantu bayalulekwa ngokomqondo, people are getting psychosocial support because people are still very traumatized and they are paralyzed from even moving and changing their situations because how can you function? I know a cousin of mine who stays la eNanda, his whole family of 5, uma wakhe, usisi wakhe and 3 kids, bawelwa umuzi, bafa bonke. That child has not received psychosocial support. Yes, we are there as a community because we have our own strategies of offering support. That all becomes part and parcel of psychotherapy. But we need it on a professional scale so that this targeted method is able to help people to move forward.
We are not blaming the government from what happened. You know, natural disasters are things that nobody has control over. But if I was the government of this country, there is 30 million issued to KZN. And we have so many psychologists who are not employed. We have so many social workers who are not employed. We have so many surveyors who are not employed. Construction companies, so many. But because they want to give one and the same people jobs, that's why we are going to be like this for another many more years to come. Because even if, yes, they are trying to find some other bodies, they are trying to rebuild other roads, why can't they use even other companies? We have so many construction companies that are waiting for the government to do work for the government. But because the government officials are selfish and they are only giving jobs to their friends, they are only giving tenders to their friends, they don't want to share jobs with other people. What I can say is we are in deep shit. I'm sorry to use that word, but we are in deep trouble. I don't know, actually, for like today, I don't have a solution that I can give out to South Africa. But we do all have solution. Government officials must stop to be selfish.
They're saying we're giving you money, and the money you just hear it that somebody just gave Deben money, and the money is not there. When you look at the people that need the money to help them, they're still hungry. There's still no resources. They're still literally sleeping on the ground. When you look at an old woman sleeping on the floor, and when you come back home and you're sleeping on your double bed that is soft, something should happen inside you as a person. I'm literally so devastated by the way that governments say that they're helping us and we keep voting for them, but there's no movement in terms of helping us. My dream will never end because my dream is to literally keep on giving to community, keep on sharing. You know, because I think me sharing, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel as part of humanity. It makes me feel Ubuntu I still have. Because to be honest, I cannot have a big loaf of bread, whereas there's somebody that has none. You know, that is my dream, to continue literally giving back.
My dream is to have the ability to bring back the spirit of Ubuntu within our own Black communities, because there's a lot of Black on Black strikes, there's a lot of Black on Black fights. So personally for me, is to have the ability to bring back the spirit of Ubuntu within the Black community.
My dream, Mina, is to help out the community, the families, wherever I can.
My dream is actually not wanting to work alone, but wanting to work with people.
My dream is to see a just world where people can be, where we share in the resources and the skills that we have, where we live in union.
My dream is, guys, South Africa need people like us. So let us not stop trying, regardless of what the situation we are faced with now. But let us not stop trying.
Yazi, you should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong. You should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong.